The story of Destiny 2 and Marathon never seems to end because while these two fan bases are at war with one another and the free to play weekend for Marathon has ended and the numbers are not boosted, and yet Destiny 2's player counts are skyrocketing, now Bungie's former community manager has blasted players fixated on comparing Destiny 2's player count with Marathon's. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I always think it is absolutely hilarious when we see game directors and game developers and writers and even community managers come out and attack gamers. When things are not going their way, they throw hissy fits. We saw this happen just a few weeks ago with a High Guard voice actor because they came out and said it was completely unfair that gamers were memeing on this title and even comparing it to...
I remember that, the High Guard stuff. Like, oh my god. You never, ever attack the customer. What are you doing?
To Concord. They were furious over this, and I think it's funny because if a little meme on social media or a little bit of criticism is going to hurt your feelings, I'm sorry, you are a sensitive snowflake. If you want people to love your product, I don't know, maybe the product should just be better. These people cannot...
That's facts. If you want people to buy your shit, it needs to be good. You know, I will always use Call of Duty as the example for, you know, they want quantity over quality, not quality over quantity. And you can see the impact it's having on the overall franchise. I mean, for the first time ever last year, they were dethroned by Battlefield 6. There you go. That's all you need to know. Like, you guys gotta make quality games if you want people to buy them and play them.
Take responsibility for their actions and for their failures, no accountability in sight, and then they try to attack anybody who is talking about the situation, and that is what is happening here. This person doesn't even work for Bungie anymore, and they were a community manager. This is somebody who's supposed to have good customer relation skills. They're supposed to be able to communicate with gamers properly and actually give information to customers directly from the developers or give customer feedback to the developers, and it definitely isn't looking good for this game right now. And so to come out and just cause more controversy for this title probably isn't smart. Now, the person who is speaking out is Leanna Rupert. I've talked about her before. She's desperate for attention. She posts on social media and always runs defense for the biggest games that are getting dunked on by gamers. She is somebody who wants to be a part of this industry as much as possible, and she's willing to shill for tons of products. And so it's not shocking that it's coming from her, but it is funny that the journos, right, are writing articles.
When you guys see what this chick, not Vera, the chick she's talking about, Leanna, when you guys see what she thinks the Destiny community should be doing in order to try and get a Destiny 3, you're gonna fucking lose your mind.
About, I don't know, her random post on social media. So it says as Destiny 2 fans mourn the game's final update, Bungie's former community manager has said its player count shouldn't be compared with that of fledgling extraction shooter Marathon, insisting the company's current issues began long before its arrival, as well as Sony's acquisition. Since Marathon debuted in March, and particularly since Bungie announced it was ending development of new Destiny 2 content, fans have continually compared the numbers of players in each game and scrutinized Marathon's lower player count in particular, and of course we are going to do,
as she's going to say, of course we're gonna do that. It's your most recent game. It's the same studio. Of course we're going to compare the player counts. Are you stupid? Leanna, are you retarded? Like, oh, come on, bro. There's no way. There's no way we could be saying this shit.
that because we know that PC is Marathon's primary platform, and when the numbers are something like 14,891 for a 24-hour peak, and this game's only a few months old, versus Destiny 2's a game that is many years old and its 24-hour peak is 133,557. Yeah, people.
Marathon, you're getting dog walked. You're getting dog walked. Oh, it's fucking funny. It's funny. It's funny. Marathon's getting dog walked. Oh, man.
People are going to say these numbers look abysmal because Destiny 2's main platform isn't even PC. It just goes to show that people are willing to show up to consume more Destiny content, and so the obvious answer would be to develop more Destiny 2 content. I get that they do not want to admit defeat on Marathon yet, and sure, don't. Release the content that has been partially developed for Marathon. Take a year to pump all of that out, but you should still be going ahead with D2 content or working on Destiny 3, but that is years and years away, and that's why this isn't sitting right with people. I mean, it's very, very obvious. So the former Bungie community manager, Liana Rupert, has now insisted that the company's problems predate Sony ownership, to the extent that its $3.7 billion buyout was an emergency acquisition. This fight was pre-Sony, she wrote, responding to a fan who suggested Sony should have given Destiny 2 more of a chance. Bungie was below the red line before the Sony acquisition. If it wasn't acquired right then, the studio was very close to shutting its doors, at the very least on.
I don't believe that. We were close to shutting our doors before the Sony acquisition. Do you know how much money you guys were pulling in from silver purchases alone? The Eververse was making y'all money hand over fist. It's not our fault that you were reinvesting it in very bad investments. Bungie leadership should be held responsible. If I'm Sony, I'm firing Justin Truman right now. I wouldn't appoint him to any position in Sony. I'd fire his ass. Like, the studio heads right now should be losing their job. In favor of people who actually are passionate about the shit that they put out. Instead of, I want to deliver the absolute bare minimum we can that will turn a profit. You know, the lack of over-delivery. Yeah, fuck you, Justin Truman.
Destiny, it was an emergency acquisition, and they're still in an emergency state. I'm not sitting here and saying that they weren't having problems before. Obviously, if they were
Mm.
willing to be acquired, it was because they were struggling. It's like with Bethesda. Bethesda wasn't technically struggling until Elder Scrolls 6 came along, and they put so much money into it, and they knew it was going to take such a long time that ZeniMax was like, oh my gosh, we really need to do something, and we need to do something fast because they probably already put hundreds of millions of dollars into it at that point. And now we've heard that the budget has skyrocketed over $1.5 billion.
This is gonna be a separate video for a different day. This video will be discussed on the main channel. Just throwing that out there. But one thing I'll comment for this video on this channel is Bethesda. I don't care about Elder Scrolls 6 anymore. It's been too long. It's also kind of the same way I kind of feel about GTA 6. Am I excited for GTA 6? Yes. But it's also been too long of a wait. Granted, Grand Theft Auto installments always are good. Bethesda, you burned a lot of people with Starfield. I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be pulling the numbers you think it's going to. If you're spending that kind of money, this game needs to be fucking good. It needs to be. That's all I'm saying. If you're spending 1.5 bill, the game needs to be good.
Which is absolutely insane, and it's probably going to be well over $2 billion when we get to the end of the development cycle and marketing, but it is
$2 billion to make Elder Scrolls 6. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no no no. 2 bill. 2 billion.
what it is.
Bro,
So
if they're
yeah,
spending that amount
obviously
of
they
money,
were struggling,
oh,
but it
no.
hasn't gotten better under Sony. And what Sony has been pushing recently is live service games. We've seen a ton come from Sony. And so when you see that Marathon is a live service extraction shooter, which live service games haven't been received particularly well, and extraction shooters are very niche, and then you add Marathon into the mix, which Marathon was cool when it came out in the 90s, but it hasn't had any hype since then. And so banking on the name Marathon wasn't ever a smart idea, in my opinion. Yeah, none of this is going to lead to a positive outcome if you.
And to add to your point, banking on Marathon that is only an extraction shooter mode and doesn't have a PvE single player mode that tells the story of the fucking universe. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing now? It's hard for me to get invested in PvP modes in a universe so mysterious and rich with lore like Marathon when I can't soak it up like I can in Destiny. In Destiny, most of the story is from PvE. Crucible is just where Guardians go to have skirmishes against each other in order to hone their skills and become better on the field. That's all the lore you need for Crucible existing, and Iron Banner is an even better version of that, and same with Trials of Osiris. You know, it's... As one of my favorite Destiny people on Twitter has put it. Marathon is a Bungie game mode, not a Bungie game. It is actually that.
Your gameplay sucks, your art style sucks, and your experience overall just isn't interesting to people. And so to come out and say that, oh my gosh, people need to be nicer, is just so hilarious. Half the community is going to hate me for saying this, she continued, but the only way to keep Bungie alive right now is to support Marathon. People keep comparing Marathon numbers to Destiny, and frankly,
I would rather watch Bungie burn to the ground than to support the game that killed my favorite game. I would rather watch Bungie cease to exist as a studio than to support the game that killed my favorite game. My favorite story. My favorite journey. I would rather watch the studio fail. I'm not supporting that. We wanted Destiny 3. Hell, we communicated that for a long time. I remember talking about amongst my friends wanting a Destiny 3 during Witch Queen. That was 2022, guys. Okay? I communicated very publicly about wanting a Destiny 3 during Witch Queen. I want it so bad. Especially now after, okay, spoiler alert. Especially now after learning the Winnower was actually a being that existed. And he talked directly to us. Yeah, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I want that shit. I want Xivu Arath. I want to hunt down the rest of the worm gods. I want to face the Winnower. And whether we win or lose, that should be the end of Destiny. The Winnower. Because whether you win or lose, the victor wins the Flower Dance.